Good evening. Welcome to my new studio. Anyway, what I am doing tonight is making a cylinder balance. And as you can see right here, I have made a brass collet, and that was turned up on the lathe. Also, the cylinder was turned up on the lathe. Just pick a piece of blued steel, turn the OD, pre-drill it. So it's got a hole through the center, and then you can finish off that hole once you've got the OD turned down. And then what I do is press in the plugs that I turn up, and I leave the pivots like raw, little oversized, so when I machine it I can get some concentricity in the pivots. So next you have to press on the collet onto the cylinder, and I find that very tricky. However, you just pick a appropriate size hole in your staking tool, and I did ream out after I drilled a hole to size. I did take a cutting broach and I tapered the hole slightly. That helps me press it in, and then I press it in with the aid of this tool, which basically sits into the cutout in the cylinder, and then you just press the cylinder down into the collet with one of the corners or the whole flat. And I do that off center of the staking tool, just because this tool is not cut in a way that you could use it in the staking tool. So you can still use the staking tool, but just turn off center the hole that you choose. So I'm trying to get a clear shot here of the cylinder, and obviously the tool kind of just fits into the notch, and you just press it home. What I like to do is, when I machine things up on the lathe, I put a post-it on the front of my motor, so I have all the dimensions that I need right to hand, so I'm not guessing or looking. It's right in front of me, so I can keep track of what I'm doing. So that's it. Now I have to stake on the balance wheel and then press on the spring, the hairspring. That will happen after I get it put back into the watch. So this is a lovely little cylinder escapement watch from the late 1800s that is being serviced right now, and I had to do a lot of work. The balance jewels were cracked and actually so blown out that the whole entire balance was missing, because somebody obviously didn't want to repair it. And then I'm guessing the shafts, the pivot shafts, were broken, and it was just too much trouble. But this is what I've done so far. Pressed in some new jewels into the cocks for the balance wheel, and they all went back together, and that was pretty fun. They're rub-in jewels, so tricky to do if they've been done before, because the metal gets worn, and you usually end up having to ream them out and do a friction fit. So looking forward to putting this back together later, and I'll show you guys putting on the balance, which will just pop right on there, and that's it. I'll just center that up and get it ready for staking, and then the spring can go on top. Now, one tricky thing to remember is you have to time this little stop. If you can see it, there's a stop, and that's so that the balance can only swing a certain amount. It will not swing 360 degrees. And if you look at the balance cock, you will see that there is a small pin, this, at the back of the balance cock, and that interferes with the balance turning 360 degrees. So that's what that little nub is for. So that has to be timed to the cylinder, to the opening. So that's what will happen next. Anyway, just my way of doing cylinder balances, which are tricky and fiddly just because they are, and they're small and delicate, and you lose parts. You know, the pivot pieces are so small. If you squeeze them too hard with the tweezers, they're going to ping all over the place. So you'll do it a few times, but it is fun. Anyway, thanks for watching. Bye.